everybody, and welcome to the Southern Pens Bookshop Between the Pages Live. We have Lori Duff with us tonight as our guest author. Hey, Lori.
Hello.
Thank you for coming and joining us and being a part of our show tonight. We're excited that you're here.
Thank you.
Mary is not going to be with us tonight. Matter of fact, she's not even in my ear tonight. I just talked to her very, very briefly before coming on. That's one reason why I was a little bit late coming in, was trying to get a hold of her. And y'all just kind of keep her in your thoughts. She's kind of having a little rough go of it right now with some health issues. So if y'all can just kind of, say an extra prayer of healing for her, that would be greatly appreciated. But let's get tonight started, because we have a lot of great things to talk about with Miss Lori. I just want to kind of get you guys up to speed on a couple of things that's going on with the bookshop.
Whoa.
Wow!
Sorry about that. I'm trying to do a watch party. Wait, let me turn that volume down.
All right. Well, at least we know we're broadcasting. Hey guys, you know what? We will entertain you, we promise. And that leads me into, I have been thinking about this for a long time, and I am going to open up an internship with the Southern Pen Bookshop. This is going to be a non-paid internship. What we're looking for is somebody who can help us out with our audio and our video, our broadcast. I have bought a wonderful camera with a boom mic to do this particular show with, and I have had it for 2 months. I have done YouTube videos. I've read the little bitty instruction booklet, which is about that thick, and it's not that a whole lot of great instructions in it, and it's written in a font that I think is about the size of an ant's shoe. But I'm to the point that I'm about ready to give up the ghost and say, if you are somebody who is very techy, understands how to do all the behind the scenes camera work, and this is an area of study for you, trust me, you can come and learn with us. And if you're interested in the internship, just email me at the southernpenbookshop@gmail.com. And let me just again say, this is a volunteer, non-paid internship, but I promise you, I will feed you occasionally, and you will have a great time. And trust me, we can give you some laughs. Alrighty, moving right along. Don't forget that if you are a Georgia independent author and you've published a book this year in 2020, among all the COVID stuff and everything, I mean, hey, why haven't you had time to write a book, right? I've been writing one for 3 years, and I thought I would get it done, since it was like, oh, well, I'm stuck at home, I'll have all this time. And no, it didn't happen. But anyway, if you have published a book this year, or you plan to publish a book this year, we are going to be opening up the submissions for the 2021 Georgia Independent Author of the Year Award next month, October the 1st. We are updating the guidelines. You can go to the old guidelines are still up on the website. So if you want to take a look at them and kind of get an idea of what we're looking for, you're welcome to do that. And the main thing is you've got to be a Georgia resident. It's got to be a non-traditionally published book, which means it can be self-published. You can use a hybrid publisher or a small press publishing company. And it needs to have a publishing date between January 1st and December 31st of 2020. Now, we are going to be honoring recognizing our winners this year on September the 26th with an award banquet. So we'll be announcing those winners at the end of the month. We are going to be doing another live sale this coming Tuesday. If you guys didn't get to tune in on our last one, you missed a great time. Bruce Bly, who is my husband, was there with his pottery. He does absolutely beautiful work, but he's a hoot. And I have actually been able to rope and tie him into agreeing to be my co-host during the live sale. And wow. you know Bruce's sense of humor. It's very, very, and sometimes it can drive by you twice before you realize it. Hello, Winston. But anyway, he has agreed to help interact with me. And I kind of think of George and Gracie George Burns and Gracie.
Which one are you?
I'm Gracie. I am out there, honey. Gracie's gonna have to rope me in a couple of times. But anyway, Maggie Collins with Tangle Creek Designs is going to be back with some more of her awesome homemade fall decor. She does absolutely great crafts and great work, and she puts a lot of time and effort in her crafts, not crap, but crafts. Sorry, Maggie, if you're watching. Yeah, they got me in trouble during that live demo thing. I was telling Lori about me doing a live demo for an instructorship, and I used the word crappy and poop, and they didn't like that either. So I'm like, we're talking to adults here, you know. But anyway, she actually hand stitches a lot of her stuff instead of just doing a hot glue gun, just to give it that nice finished look. So she had some really cute Halloween pieces last week, and she had a lot of pretty fall pieces, and we put a lot of her stuff up in the bookshop. So definitely tune in this Tuesday night. We're also going to be highlighting, because college football season has actually started, and I know you just absolutely are just above and beyond yourself that college football has started, right? Yes, you do. I can tell that. I remember you talking about a story, I think was about you in sports, and how you kind of related with your children, because, or you related with your friends, because even though you didn't get into it, you felt a camaraderie because all of you were cheering for the same team. I remember, yes. Yeah. But anyway, we are going to highlight some college football books that we have in the bookshop, and they're not all SEC. We actually have one book in the bookshop that's about all the Ivy League colleges.
Wow.
And their mascots and the history behind them. And actually there is a tie-in with an Ivy League college in the University of Georgia in Sanford Stadium. So we're going to really talk about that during the live sale next week while we're presenting those books. All right. Don't forget, the last Wednesday of this month, we are going to have our book trivia night. This is done through Zoom, so you will need to have the Zoom meeting link. You can RSVP to it, and we will send you the Zoom meeting room link. We'll also have an event up on under our events, and also have the link on our website. This month's book is by none other but Tori Bailey. And it's the first book in the Coming Home series, which is A Second Chance at Goodbye. Bonus questions will come from that book. I'm seeing that we're getting some comments. So, hey, everybody, don't forget to flip the page. Let your friends know about us, because we love to, you know, we're Southern. We just love to host people and have a big party. So make sure you flip the page with your friends. So talking about book trivia night, here's the trivia question for tonight's show. Now let me get my glasses on.
Do I get to answer?
You can at the end, but you can't now. And we picked this one just for you tonight.
I figured.
All right. So whose best-selling books include When You Look Like Your Passport Photo, It's Time to Go Home? So I'm going to read that again. Whose best-selling books include When You Look Like Your Passport Photo, It's Time to Go Home? If you know the answer, just let us know. Since I don't have Mary helping me behind the scenes tonight, what I'll do is at the end of the broadcast tonight, I'll look at whoever answered, and I'll look at the timestamps of when the answers were submitted, and I'll pick 2 winners from tonight. And we'll reveal the answer to the question at the end of the show tonight. So we have Lori Duff with us, and you are a very, very busy lady. I mean, you wear a lot of hats. You've helped us a lot here at the Southern Hymn Bookshop. You were our keynote speaker at our very first Writers Conference.
I was.
And you also was the hostess of ceremony for our very first Georgia Independent Author of the Year Award ceremony. So you've helped us a lot here with the bookshop.
I like to talk.
Well, which leads us into your your profession is a lawyer, so I guess you kind of do need to like to talk, don't you?
have to be able to. Yes.
And also have a good, healthy appetite for a good, strong debate, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to be able to not back down from one, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I get that because Bruce should have been an attorney because he loves a debate, and I like to debate. I debated in high school, and I kind of one time caught that I always found myself arguing, not like having an argument, but having arguing a point on a conversation, and I was like, well, why am I always doing that? And it just dawned on me that it's the debating. It's that wanting to, play devil's advocate, I guess, sometimes. So what got you interested in law?
Well, my parents gave me two choices, law school or med school.
Okay. So
and I didn't want to be a doctor.
You didn't want to do the gore stuff, right?
No.
Now,
what? Nothing gross about the law.
Yeah.
Very little blood.
And the thing about being an attorney is a lot like it was with Mary and I when we worked with 911 as communication officers. Nobody ever calls you on a good day, do they?
No one in the history of the world has ever woken up and said to themselves, you know what? I'm having a really good day. Things are going great. I'm going to call my lawyer.
And just say, hey.
Things are just going swimmingly. I think I'm going to call my lawyer.
Yeah.
No.
No, nobody's ever done that.
No one ever does that.
So,
well, we'll call you when things are just going south, when everything has just gone to crap, and yeah.
And you're supposed to be the huge Band-Aid and fixer for everything.
Well, people call me. I've spent 10 years creating this problem. I need you to fix it in 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And what do you mean you haven't done it yet?
Exactly. and oh my God, you mean you charge me for that?
Right.
Yeah.
You mean you spent 10 years learning how to do that and you're going to charge me for it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. And I think you probably see a lot of this too in your profession is the armchair lawyers who will come in and try to tell you what they need to do,
yeah,
what they've done, and think that they have just
right, because they read an article on Facebook once. I have a mug that I keep on my desk in a very prominent position that has never once had coffee in it that says, your Google search is not as good as my law degree.
I think doctors need that for their desks too, because I mean we're bad about now going to Google to I've got a rash or I don't feel good and so.
Right, and I mean law school's 3 years long, and there's a reason why it takes that long, and there's a reason why you then have to pass the bar, and there's a reason why you have to go to continuing education every year, and why even then you still have to look things up all the time because it's really complicated.
Not only that, the law is very fluid because it's very organic and ever changing because of precedents and things, right?
Right, and it's never straightforward. Just because there's a law doesn't mean that there's a straight answer. There's hardly ever a straight answer. And the answer to every question is it depends.
Right. It depends. Yeah.
It depends. What are the 57,000 extenuating circumstances that apply to your particular case?
Right, exactly. And now, where did you because you're not originally a Georgia girl. You come from.
Depends who's asking and why.
you kind of grew up in New York some, didn't you?
I did, but my birth certificate does say Atlanta, so depends who's asking and why.
Okay, so which identity do we have tonight?
Depends why you're asking.
And there we have the lawyer, guys.
It
depends.
Depends why you're asking.
But you did live in New York.
I went to high school in New York. My primary childhood memories are from New York. My parents are just Yankees.
That's not a bad thing.
No. That's why I say it depends who's asking and why.
Exactly. But you went to law school down here at Emory, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, and I went to college at Duke, so my higher education is all Southern.
Okay. And what did you do your undergraduate degree in?
Political science.
Political science. Now, did you always, I mean, I know your mom and dad kind of, you said at the beginning your mom and dad kind of gave you this choice, either medicine or law, and I'm like you, if I was given that choice, I would pick law too, because you get to wear really cool suits. and uncomfortable shoes, right?
Uncomfortable suits. Nobody wants to wear a jacket in 95-degree weather.
Right. Yeah, you gotta put, especially down here in the South and with our humidity and everything. But did you find that you had a little bit of an affinity and a passion for the law and political? I mean, political science is a pretty cool degree.
It's interesting. I generally know a lot more than I let on about what's going on around me. I don't like talking about politics, and I won't talk about politics because I'm a municipal court judge on one day a week, and I'm not allowed to talk about politics in public, and I won't. But I generally know a good deal about it.
Right.
I have fairly strong opinions, but most people don't know that.
And
I'm not telling.
And really now, especially today's with the validity of it and everything, you really do have to kind of censor and be careful, even if you wasn't in being a municipal court judge. But it's really interesting to find out that you did political science, because I am a political junkie. I love politics, and again, it goes back to the debates, I guess, of learning both sides of the issues and everything. But I absolutely, when it comes in the election year, it's like watching the Kentucky Derby for me. I'm looking at the horses and I'm trying to figure out which one I want to bet on. So I don't always get the right one, but Bruce is a very he did political science too, so he and I get into some really, really good debates, and we got into one not too long ago, and it was at the beginning of the COVID thing, and I was just like, well, the government can't make you do that, and he says, yes they can. I was like, well, no you can't, that's wrong. And he's just like shaking his head, and I'm like, well, it's wrong. It might not be right, but it's wrong. But anyway,
well, can and should are different questions.
Yeah.
And that gets confused a lot.
Yeah.
And, people don't want to go to the source documents, and I always encourage people to do that. I have that column, Legalese, and I try and point people to the source documents a lot. And it doesn't matter what you think of the law, you can like it or dislike it, but it is what it is.
Right. And that's, I think we just had some help here. Yeah, Winston's helping. I just saw in the screen, the computer was doing some, it was like it was possessed. Winston, say hi to everybody. Come here, boo. Come here, let's sit between Lori and I. There you go. All right, let me go back and fix this. I'm sorry, I got off track. Thank you, Winston. Lori writes a weekly blog, and you write several blogs, and you have written, and you probably still do write for a lot of different type of publications. But one blog that Lori does write is called Legal Ease, and I read those a lot, and I really enjoy them. And you wrote one, it's been a couple of months ago, and it was about don't block the box with the traffic. Because I can remember from my 911 days how we would have deputies that would go and work main intersections for that purpose, because people would try to pull up into the intersection. I was just thinking, God, how many times have I done that? Because if the light's green and I'm making a left-hand turn, I'm going to pull on up waiting on my turn to get in there, because I'm thinking,
everybody does it.
And I'm thinking, again, you're probably going to just go, no, you ain't right about that, Vicki. But I was just thinking, according to what I remember learning in the driver's handbook, that is, once you're in the intersection, you have the right of way. So when the light turns red, you can make that left-hand turn.
Not once it turns red.
Because I'm in the intersection. And then
once you're in the intersection, you're just blocking traffic.
Yeah, and I read your article. I was like, well, I guess I was wrong about that, so I don't do it anymore. But You do bring in a lot of good sight, and that's something I tell a lot of the young people in my family, especially those who are, this is going to be their first presidential election to get the vote in because they're 18 this year. And I'm like, you need to go and look at the records. You need to go look at the history and on whichever person you think you might like. Don't take what you hear on TV at face value, and definitely don't take what you read on Facebook, because I mean, that's skewed too. Because anything that's ever reported is always going to have a little bit of a bias slant to it. So go and look at the voting records. Go look at the legislature that they have supported. Go look at what causes they've been involved in to make your decisions. And I think that is what I try to instill in the young people in my family is don't be a sheep. Don't go and vote a certain way because somebody's always done it that way, or you think that's the popular way to do it. Just it's like you said, take that extra step to.
The source documents are really easy to find now that we have the internet. When we were kids, you'd have to do some real detective work. But now,
yes,
with 6 or 7 keystrokes, you can find just about anything.
Yeah. Do you remember? Well, of course you do. When you had to do research, you had to go to the library and you had to go to microfiche it, and there was these books that you could go and pull, and if you were looking up a certain subject or topic, you could look it up and it'd give you like periodical resources and things. Yeah.
What a pain in the butt that was.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, all you have to do is just Google it.
Yeah.
I mean, how easy is it to find anything? And usually, you can, if you're reading an article about it, usually there's hyperlinks.
Yeah.
And you can get back to, if they're talking about a court decision, you can read the court decision. If they're talking about legislation, you can click on the legislation. Mm-hmm. And don't listen to what people tell you it says.
Yeah, exactly. And
9 times out of 10, they're not even lying half the time. They just have a different idea of what it says.
Right. And again, it goes back to, you see this a lot in your profession is, when somebody walks in your office and says, I need your help, your legal expertise, you're only getting one side of the story. And that's never going to always be 100% accurate. There's always 2 sides, and
there's always 12 sides.
Yeah, and everybody's got
them too.
Yeah, everybody's got their own perspective on things,
There's at least 12 sides. There's so many different angles to look at something.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 360 degrees that you can look at anything. Mm-hmm. And everything is going to look at it differently.
Yeah.
None of them are wrong. They're just different.
Right. Exactly. Now, you had a huge honor this year, and this is going to probably be the last thing on what your day life job is. But you had a huge honor this year. You were one of 2 women that the governor of Georgia looked at for appointing to a superior judgeship. Mm-hmm. So that had to make you feel pretty proud, right?
Well, I was on the short list before. I was on the short list about 10 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was the 2nd time for me.
2nd time. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I was very proud for you when I saw
you.
that. I was like, "Oh, Lori, yay! I know her." But yeah.
Thank you.
So, but anyway, again, I kind of wanted to give that shout out because that's a proud moment. So,
thank you.
Now you're an author of 4 books. We have them right here, and you can get her books at the Southern Pen Bookshop. We have them. And you have your first 2, and I noticed you kind of changed your cover, your cover design, cover style on them. And tell us a little bit about the inspirations and the things that kind of inspire the books.
What doesn't? They're just hash. There's a little bit of everything in there. Mm-hmm. They're semi-autobiographical, but they don't really tell a story, I don't think. They're
right.
they're about nothing in the way that Seinfeld was about nothing. They're just sort of about existence. And they're, I like to say they're good bathroom books because you can take them in there with you and you can open them to wherever. And they're read 3 pages and then put it down and then open it wherever the next time.
Right. Yeah, and your family, your family is fodder for a lot of the stories, right?
Yeah, my husband says there's a lot of lies in there and exaggerations, but I've asked him to point out where exactly, and he has not been able to do that.
Now,
my kids just don't read them.
They just see. I'm thinking about Christy Breedlove because bless her son Wesley's heart. Christy has just that poor kid. Some of the stories that she has written, and she had a couple of her coworkers thinking that this kid really didn't exist, you know, because of some of the stuff she would write and tell about him and everything. But so maybe your kids and Wesley can hook up together and
have a support group.
Yeah. Moms would write about them. So now your son is left the nest this year.
He did. He's a freshman at Rice University now.
Cool beans. And his study is music.
Yes, he's at the Shepherd School of Music there. He's studying oboe performance. Very proud of him.
He's very, very talented. And your daughter, Marion, is very talented. I've gotten to hear her sing and play some, and she's very musical.
Yes, she's just released a song that you can get on any platform. She did not release it under her own name for reasons I don't know. But the name is Nobody-ish, and the song is called Dreadlock.
I'm gonna have to go look that up. You know, and I get that.
It's NSFW. It's got some bad words in it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Like poop and crappy?
Yeah.
I see some very, very strong Christian words today. I'm trying to find it now. I can't believe I can't find it now. I mashed the bejeepers on my finger.
Ow.
Yeah, I was probably saying words that your daughter probably put in her song.
Yeah, maybe not even. But it's a very punk kind of song, and I think it's a good song.
What?
Even if it's not something you played in front of your grandma.
Yeah, I got you. Now, one of the stories that you write about is about this cute little adorable fella and your husband and a trip to Charleston and a wedding. So y'all go to a wedding.
Yeah, it was my nephew's wedding. So it wasn't even like some distant relative that we don't know. It was my husband's sister's son's wedding. So we were immediate family. Yeah.
So tell us how you guys acquired Lincoln.
Yes.
Look at those cute little eyes. That is a good picture of you.
He is a cute little puppy.
So how did y'all get Lincoln?
So we had some time to kill before the wedding. The wedding was in the evening and it was in the afternoon. This was in Columbia, South Carolina. And we were just kind of wandering around, and there was this little street fair, kind of one of those arts and crafts show things. And my family has a hard time staying together at such things. And when I say my family, I mean my husband. He's a wanderer. He answers to Waldo because we never know where he is. Where is Waldo? But he's generally pretty easy to find in a crowd because he's tall and he has a lot of curly gray hair.
Yeah.
So it's very shiny, and he's tall. So usually by the time your hair has gone that gray, it's usually gone if you're a man, but it's not. It's there, so you can usually spot him because it's shiny. So we didn't worry about it that much. But anyway, he disappeared in this craft fair. So the kids and I just kind of stopped where we were and said, all right, let's see if we can find Daddy. Let's stop and catch up. And I'm looking up because I'm trying to see if I can see his shiny hair, and I can't find him. And my son's phone rings. He picks it up and he goes, "Hey, Dad, you're adopting a dog?" And my daughter just takes off running in the direction from which we had just come. Off like a shot. My son hangs up and looks at me and goes, "Daddy's adopting a dog." I said a word that is in my daughter's song. And so then my son and I start walking. And by the time we get there, money has exchanged hands, and he's at the local animal shelter booth. He's got this tiny little puppy, and my daughter is crying. I mean, there's just tears running down her face. She's, "Can I help him?" I'm like, "Well, I guess so. It's our damn dog." And I'm thinking, we are 3 hours from home. We're in a hotel room in this fancy hotel that is clearly not pet friendly. I don't even have a bowl to put water in. And everyone's looking at me, "Mom, can we keep him?" I guess. And I'm not going to be the jerk that says no.
Right.
So we sneak into the parking deck of the hotel and we find a local PetSmart and we buy everything. And we borrow a box from PetSmart and hide the dog in the box and sneak it into the hotel room. Because we just met the dog, like, we don't know if it barks. We don't know. And then we carpet the hotel room with pee-pee pads. Because we can't take it out for a walk because we can't.
You're not supposed
We're
to
not supposed to have a dog. And then we kind of rock, paper, scissors who's going to stay back from the wedding because we can't leave it alone because it's this little 6-pound puppy. We don't know if it's going to bark or tear up the hotel room or what.
Yeah.
So my son, who was 16 at the time, ends up staying back. So.
Now did Mike give any indication that he might have wanted a dog?
Well, my husband's been retired for a long time, and since 2005, and I had been saying that we should get a dog. So I was not anti-dog. I had been saying we should get one because it would inspire him maybe to get off the sofa 2-3 times a day to walk the dog. Like that maybe was a good thing.
That keeping the furniture down seems to be a common job for husbands. Yes.
Right. So I thought maybe twice a day he might have to walk 20 feet to walk the dog. So I've been saying we should get him. No, I'm not getting a dog. I'm not getting a dog. Too much to do. I don't have time. Like, don't have time. What is it, interfering with your couch set? Like, okay. So, but he was adamantly against getting a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden we had a dog at the worst possible moment. He decided we're getting a dog here and now.
Did he ever say what made him? Because I mean, there had to be something.
There was something about Lincoln that called to him that made him want Lincoln. And so he came with the name Pecan. And we decided we did not want that to be his name because then people would fight forever about whether or not he was pecan or pecan. And so we didn't know what his name was, but then he kept leaving little Lincoln logs all over the hotel room. So we named him Lincoln.
I was going to ask, how did he get the name Lincoln?
That's how we got the name Lincoln, because of the Lincoln logs he left all over the hotel room.
Well, so he's how old now?
He's 2 now, and he is about 20 pounds now.
do y'all know what type of breed he might be?
We don't know. It said on his papers that he was a beagle mix, but I don't know how much beagle is in him. We think he's Jack Russell Whippet mix.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And this is another really good picture. I don't know who's got this picture, but they did a great job on catching that tongue right at the right time and everything. So he looks like he has such a sweet personality.
He
about
does. He loves everybody and everything. He's so gentle. He's a happy little puppy.
So has he helped get Mike off the couch a little bit?
Not really. Now we have chickens too. But that's a
Oh,
whole
tell us
story.
about the chickens. Oh yeah, I was reading something today about you were on the phone and your son comes in and talking about a snake in the yard, and you were like, well, it'll be okay. And then he said they get the chickens. So how many chickens do you
It wasn't gonna be okay. It's what do you want me to do?
Yeah, well,
how is this anything that I can help with? I don't understand what you want me personally to do.
About a snake in the yard.
That seems like a thing I should stay inside for. I don't understand what you want me to do about that.
Yeah, inside the house needs to be perfectly fine. So what kind of chickens do y'all have?
The kind of
Do they lay?
I don't know, a white one and 2 different kinds of black and white ones.
So
We have 4 chickens.
do they lay eggs?
Yes, they do.
Oh, so you're getting some farm fresh eggs then?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the farm fresh, your type of eggs make good cakes is what I'm trying to say.
They make good everything.
Yeah, they do because they're richer.
They are.
They're a much richer egg for cooking and baking.
And one of the chickens, I don't know which one it is, because we don't ever actually see them laying the eggs, but one of them has a propensity for laying double yolkers.
Really? Wow. So what got y'all into getting chickens?
I wasn't there.
Kind of like you wasn't there for the dog either, were you?
I was more there for the dog, but I just came home from work one day and we had 4 little chicks. Okay.
So did Marin and
That was more of a Marin thing.
that was more of a, I could kind of see that. I could kind of see that Marin doing that. So do they have names?
They do. It's Frida, Vashti, Ramona, and Godzilla.
Okay, Godzilla. It's because Godzilla's a little bit more aggressive.
No,
or-
actually, Frida and Vashti are the top of the literal pecking order.
Yeah, and they do. Chickens do have packing orders.
Yeah, they are bitches. They will peck. I mean, they literally will just peck the crap out of the other 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
They're mean.
yeah.
They're mean little things.
Well, so do you think you guys might get any goats or anything, or are you kind of scared to turn your kids or your family loose to any animal
We
places?
don't have the fencing for goats. We don't have fences. So the chicken's free range. We have a creek on one side of our property which keeps the chickens from going that way. And there's nothing that stops them from going this way, but the neighbor on this side just likes them, so it's okay.
Well, you know, and I'm kind of giving you a hard time about the chickens because I just think that's so cool, you know, chickens. But
They have a coop, and the coop is nicer than my house.
Of course, yeah.
It's a nice coop.
Yeah, some people get really fancy with their chicken coops, like curtains and things like that.
No, it doesn't have curtains, but it is 2 stories and has a bunch of little doors and ramps. And
Oh yeah, so they don't get bored.
they're too stupid to get bored.
You know, talking about that, you know, a piece of trivia, you know, I love American history, but did you know that Ben Franklin wanted the turkey to be the American bird? And everybody thinks a turkey's stupid, but really turkeys are pretty smart.
I don't know much about turkeys, but I don't know much about chickens in general, but I can tell you that our 4 are not smart.
Okay. And the reason why I'm giving you, and again, I'm kind of having fun with you about the chickens is because I planted some flowers in the backyard. I'm working on a terrace garden in the backyard. And I went out last night and I noticed in a subdivision in the city of Monroe, we have deer in our backyard. I mean, literally one night I was looking at, there was a deer outside this window right here and was looking in, watching us watch TV. But
Were you watching anything particularly deer friendly?
I don't know. I was just like, hey, there's a deer out there watching us, you know. But I was telling Bruce, I said, the deer are eating my flowers. You know, they're coming in the backyard, and I said, well, I think what I'm gonna do is I gotta go get cat food tomorrow. And I think when I go get cat food, I said, I think I'm gonna go and pick up a bag of deer corn and put some deer corn out. You know, maybe that'll keep the deer from eating my flowers. And Bruce is like, no, that just means they're gonna bring their friends with them.
Just attract them.
Yeah. I was just like, well, maybe I'll put the deer corn outside the fence.
Start in the neighbor's yard.
In the neighbor's yard, and maybe they'll eat the neighbor's flowers. But anyway, I'm still probably gonna get that deer corn. So,
You just don't tell Bruce. Does
Yeah.
he watch these things? Will he know?
no.
Okay.
No. But I tell you the funniest thing that ever happened here is I came home one afternoon and there was a goat in my front yard eating my tree.
Okay.
And I was like,
Who's goat?
where did you come from? I mean, he was cute. It was a little billy goat. He was cute. He'd let you walk up and scratch his forehead and everything. House in the subdivision over behind us had goats. So, and there's somebody that's got a horse over there too. So, yeah, there was a goat, front yard, eating my tree. I was beginning to feel like I was back in Wilkes County again. But now you have this thing about tiaras. Tell us
I
about
should
you.
have worn mine.
I almost asked you to bring your tiara.
Well, one of my tiaras.
Yeah, how many do you have?
I have 2 extra fancy, and I have a bunch of stupid little plastic ones. But I have 2 nice tiaras.
Yeah, and you wore one to the Christmas tea last year.
Yes. You
Yeah.
should wear your tiaras.
Yes.
Why have them if you're not going to wear them?
Yes, definitely. So, but you don't wear them when you're sitting on the bench, right?
No.
They kind of frown on that, don't they?
Well, I don't care if they frown, but I feel like it's rude. You know.
Yeah.
I don't want people to feel lowly
I got you.
in my presence. You know, it's sort of a kiss the ring kind of thing if I'm wearing a tiara, and that seems,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to be too high and mighty.
Well, that's true. I get you on that. But yeah, I almost mentioned bring your. Now, your most favorite superhero person is
Obviously.
a tiara-wearing girl herself,
Yes.
and that would be Wonder Woman. And I think in a lot of ways you're kind of a modern-day Wonder Woman because you do so much.
That just makes me tired.
I mean, I'm reading all of the different things that you do and all, and I was like, my goodness, do you meet yourself coming out the door when you come home sometimes?
Yes.
So what inspired your affinity for Wonder Woman?
I don't know. I just remember, I mean, probably she was the only game in town when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was little, watching her on TV and
Linda Carter.
yeah, and just thinking she was great. And you know, I don't remember. I've since bought the box set, of course, and watched the episodes. But from my childhood, I don't remember the specific episodes. But I do remember, you know, blocking the bullets. And
Oh yeah,
and her
and
spinning around,
Yeah.
just transforming.
Yes. And the little lasso.
Yeah, the lasso, golden lasso of truth,
Yeah.
and all that, and just thinking that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And why not?
Yeah, and I'm right there with you, because like you, I remember, she was the only female superhero character for us girls during that time period growing
What was the
up.
Bionic Woman?
Yeah, oh God, yeah, Lizzie Wagner as the Bionic Woman. Yeah, who didn't want to be her?
But that didn't strike as much of a chord with me for some reason.
Yeah, but now I'm trying to remember. Did she come? She didn't come on Saturday mornings. There was the cartoon version that came on Saturday mornings. But I think Linda, the live version, was a weeknight episode.
I don't remember.
So
that
anyway,
specifically.
yeah. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I remember the Wonder Woman. So anytime I see anything Wonder Woman, I think about you. Because and I kind of alluded that Lori does a lot, and she does, because it's like in the daytime you're an attorney, you're a judge one day out of the week, but you also do a lot on. You're a comedian. And you write for a lot of different news outlets. You've written for Huffington Post. You've got a couple of blogs that you do. You actually teach some online classes too about writing memoirs. So,
I do ghostwriting. I've got my 4 books. I've probably got about 9 different books under other people's names. I can't tell you what they are.
Now, are you working on a new book now?
I'm working on 2, maybe 3, but I've got enough material for another one like those 4. But I kind of have been there, done that feeling about it.
Kind of want to stretch your
So
and
I'm
do
working on
something
2 others that are different, and then I'm working at the moment. I'm working on 2 others for 2 other people. So there's that also.
Right. Now you had I was digging around on your blogs today, and there was one particular post you had on the blog that really spoke to me, and it was the one about your mom's china, and I get reading it really touched home with me a lot, because I can remember and you've attended a couple of the Christmas teas, and you heard me talk at this past when we do the Christmas tea, when I host the Christmas tea, each table is set with china, and I actually pull out my family's china, and I have my mother's wedding china, I have my grandmother, my dad's mom's china, I have Bruce's grandmother's china. And when I got married, this is a tradition that brides don't do nowadays, is they don't go and register for china, because people don't set tables like they used to set tables, and I can remember Mama setting. I mean, if the preacher came over, that china came out. Any special Sunday family dinner with a whole family, not just our little cluster family, whole family would come together. And but your blog post talked about your mom's china, and I thought that was just really touching, that you related to how this china is now going to be a way to connect with your mom. But tell us a little bit about this, because this is absolutely beautiful.
Isn't it gorgeous?
It is.
Yeah. My mom never used it. I mean, never used it.
Yeah.
A lot of it was still wrapped in the original plastic and tissue paper. You can see, I don't know if it's bottom right or bottom left in Facebook land. But those are individual ashtrays for each place. So
I love that. When I saw that, I was like, oh, that just spoke to the time period, because that's even something I'd never heard of, that you could actually get individual.
Yeah. And that the thing above it is a cigarette case, and there was also a lighter that matched.
Oh. Now your dad brought this to you,
My dad
right?
brought it to me, yeah.
Yeah.
After my mom passed, he was just kind of purging all the stuff he's never going to use. And since my mom never used it, Lord knows my dad's never going to use it. And it's just beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's never been used. It's pristine.
Yeah.
And it's 50 some odd years old. And that's such a shame.
Yeah.
That there's no memories created with that. And, you know, it just made me think of my mom, you know, being 22, 23 years old. I don't know how old she was when she registered for this, probably 22.
Mm-hmm.
She was 23 when she got married. And, you know, just imagining Thanksgiving dinners and, you know, all of that. And then never doing it because she didn't want to chip it or whatever reason she had.
Yeah.
And then she died and never used it. What was
Yeah.
she saving it for? You know, if she had thrown it off the roof and used it as skeet, it would have had more utility because then she would have at least had fun with it.
Right.
You know?
Sure.
So I thought, well, that's ridiculous. We're going to use it.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I when you wrote that in your blog post, you said, you know, we will use this. I was like, cool. You know, because one thing I have started doing is buying sets of china, because the thing is, and I read an article not too long ago, because I also collect depression glass, that the thing is, the title of the article was "Your Children Don't Want Your China," and that's the thing. Is used to be, it was a big thing. Who's going to inherit Mama's china?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and probably with squabbles among siblings over who got Mama's china. Nowadays, kids could care less about it. And so it's a awesome market for me, because then I can go in. I've got boxes of china sitting in the dining room now that I've got a catalog that I have picked up at auctions from it, because nobody wants Mama's china anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, but there's still, you know, I guess people in our vintage age range that respects that, you know, that remember, you know, and remembers seeing beautiful tables laid out, you know. So, but I saw that and I read that article, I read your blog post, and that really, really spoke to me about your mom's china, because it's a lost art.
Mm-hmm. So that's Wedgwood Florentine Black, if anyone is interested in looking it up.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to tell that, because that's another thing. The black and white is just so classy.
With the gold.
With the gold.
And all the gold leaf is intact because it hasn't been used. It's so ridiculous.
Now, and we're not going to play the video right quick, but you got to perform in 2018 in the lineup of Atlanta's Funniest Lawyer, and you were the only girl there.
I was.
You were pretty funny. And guys, if y'all like to see this, you can YouTube it. The video is up on YouTube. You can catch Lori's performance. She's a ride. So tell us about that experience. That had to be pretty awesome.
That was a lot of fun. I had a great time with that. I was looking at this, it was just an email, doesn't matter what it was, but it was just a lawyer's email kind of thing. And one of the ads in the email was, "Do you think you're Atlanta's funniest lawyer?" And I thought, well, yeah, I do, actually. And so I clicked on it, and it was a fundraiser for children's health care.
Oh,
is what it was. And so we worked with comedians from Laughing Skull, and we put together an act, and it was a little competition.
Yeah, I loved your part. Which you opened up talking about being a small town lawyer in a duplex. Your office
Every
is
town
in
lawyers in a dumpy little duplex.
And how being a managing partner means that you're also in charge of the IT department.
Yeah.
Because your partner was 84 years old.
Actually,
Yeah, at the time. Yeah. But and I laugh at that, because guess what? When you're the chief bottle washer, cook, and everything, you've got to be IT and clean up and everything, right?
Yep. IT department, the maintenance department, the paper towel buyer,
Exactly. And I could commiserate with you on that because, again, that's the reason why I'm thinking about doing this internship thing, is to get somebody to help out with the audio, because it's just I can fly an airplane, but when it comes to this type of technology, forget about it. I'm just not there. But do you think doing more stand-up comedy is something you may do more of?
That's something I need more time to do more of. It's really labor intensive. It is not half as easy as it looks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it looks like you just kind of standing up and talking, but it's so hard.
Right, because you got to think about timing. You got to think about how you present it and everything.
It's really a lot of work to put together an act. You know, to put together a 5-minute act, you know, is a lot of hours worth of work. And then not only that, but then you have to find a place to perform it, which, you know, is a lot of marketing and a lot of travel and a lot of work. And at the moment, you know, my plate's a little full.
Yeah.
A little bit. But I do enjoy it. It's so much fun and it's so rewarding. So one day when I have a little more time, it's something I really want to do.
Yeah. And I get that. I can relate to that. It's probably a way to kind of decompress a little bit too.
Oh wow! It sounds like there's cats killing each other.
Yeah, that would be Zippy and Screech. I'll go and pick up the body parts later. Whatever's left of the, I'll just clean it up. Gosh, that just got me off track. I'm sorry, guys. It was just like hearing.
It sounded like a murder scene.
Yeah, up there. I'm hoping that I'm not going to have a death scene up there when I get up there. But anyway, I might. I'm definitely going to have some fur. But anyway, I know where I was going to go. Before we wrap up, there's two things I really wanted to talk to you about from a writer's point of view. And one of them is with your last book, which is if you did what I asked in the first place, which I love that title. I think every woman has said that at some point in time in their lives.
It's today, probably.
Yeah. You decided to use a publicist. What made you decide to do that, to go that route?
I got tired. It's a lot of work. Doing all that yourself. And I wanted to take it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I felt like I'd gone as far as I could go by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted someone who knew what they were doing to take charge.
Mm-hmm. So have you found it to be an experience that was worth the investment? Because publicists are not cheap.
No, they're not. It was really fun being able to say, well, I'll have my people call your people. You know, it's fun having people. Or it's just fun getting random calls from my people going, I talked to their people, and
Yeah,
like that was really fun. I felt like it gave me a level of credibility that I didn't have on my own.
Right. And I think what you said is important is you had laid a lot of the foundation, because this is your fourth book.
Right.
This is your fourth book. So this wasn't like, you know, I've just written a book. This is my first book and I'm ready now to go talk to a publicist. Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of publicists are going to look at you and look at what you've done beforehand before they even decide whether or not they want to invest their time in working with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's important, that if to authors to do that.
Yeah, and I really do feel like I had taken it as far as I could go. I didn't know I was at the end of ideas. You know,
Mm-hmm.
This is it. If there's something else to do, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and in your, one thing to say too is you on your own have managed to make all your books #1 bestsellers on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So you have learned through probably trial and error
A
how.
lot of error.
Oh yeah,
A
and you
lot of
actually
error.
teach marketing classes now, don't you?
Not classes, but just consultation.
Yeah. So do you work with brand new, fresh out of the gate authors who
I'll work with anyone who pays me.
write the check? She'll walk with you. That's it. Bottom line, write the check. You know, and the problem is, don't worry about how many zeros she's telling you. Just worry about where she's going to tell you to put that decimal point.
Right.
That's what somebody taught me one time. It don't matter how many zeros you put down, where you put that decimal point's what's important.
And the comma.
And the comma. Yeah, you have this thing about commas, don't you?
Yeah, they're very important. They change the meaning of everything.
They do. Well, Lori, I want to say thank you very, very, very much for joining us. So let's give the answer to tonight's trivia question. Because your style of writing and humor has often been compared to this lady. So the answer to tonight's trivia question was Irma Bombeck. Irma Bombeck. So,
She's awesome.
yeah, she is. She really was. Whereas Marlene Buchanan writes the good Southern Louis Grizzard type humor, you kind of do a little bit of a mesh of Irma Bombeck and Dave Barry. A little bit. So you have a really good sense of humor right yourself. Which I guess you have to with everything that comes across your plate. Next week we have Ann Lovett. She's going to be with us, and I don't know if she's going to be here with us live or if she's going to be in with us through Zoom. But she has got 3 wonderful historical fiction books out that are set in post-World War II Georgia. So she is going to be with us to talk about her 3 books next week. Don't forget, Tuesday night we have the live sale at 7:30, starting at 7:30. We're going to have Maggie Collins with Tango Creek Designs. Bruce is going to be with us again. And then, of course, I'll have stuff from the bookshop. So, guys, thank you very much for joining in with us for another episode. And like I always say here at the Southern Pen Bookshop, there's 2 things a book should never be judged by. One is its cover, and the second is how it's published. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to introduce you to your favorite indie author. Have a good week. God bless and be safe.
Thank you.